Yeah, I would like to thank EuroCham for giving me a chance to be speaker for the workshop today to talk about the job market in Vietnam 2024 topic. And thanks, Ms. Thao, for general introductions about me. I am Lan, the Regional Director of Navigotius, the recruitment consulting firm in Vietnam. Since we are working in the recruitment consulting service, we have chance to work with so many clients and candidates to hear about their plan, their expectations, about their story, their issues, and also their solutions. And it would be a pleasure for me to share with you what we have learned from our clients and from our candidates about the job market, what they are doing, and hope that it can be something beneficial for you. So let me share my screen. So hope you already see my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So in the next 20 minutes, I will walk you through three main sessions. First, we'll have a quick look about the global labor market. We know what's happening in the global market this year. What would be the gen about the labor workforce, and what would be the expectation of each generation. And next we move to the trends of recruitment, how the companies in global, they are recruiting people. And the next part we move to Vietnam labor market. May I walk you through a little bit, have a quick look about what's happening, what already happened in 2023, how company cope with the market fluctuations, and what would be the plan of company in Vietnam for this year, how they recruit people. And in the last part, I would like, on behalf of Navigotius, I would like to give some recommendation for company to recruit right talents in these situations. So, maybe Mr. already mentioned a little bit about the global market in last year, some fluctuation we already got. Any of you have the idea about the global economic growth rate last year and the forecasted number for this year? Any of you have the idea about that? Can you type the growth rate in the chat box? Actually, the growth rate of the global economy last year is about 2.6%, and this year can be forecast about 2.4%. It can be you, when you see that number, you know that, okay, it's a bit down in this year. And actually, for the first 4 year in this decade, we see that the most lowest decade that we have seen in last 30 years. So that means we know about what's happening with the labor market in last few years. Actually, we can see that in the last 2 years, especially in 2021, 2022, we see a very big quit. We call it the Great Resignations. And especially it happened in the US. But now, until the September of last year, the quitting rate is stable, it's moderate. And we can see the same stable quitting rate in this year. That means not so many people will leave the job. They want to stay with the company. And we can see one of the solution or one of the reasons that why people stay with the company, not just only about the current economic situation, but also some of solutions that the company are applying. That's internal mobility. I believe that even with your company, you are also applying the internal mobility, the internal promotion within, or allocating more job or extra employee to handle more tasks. And that's keep your people to stay with the company instead of moving out and find another job. So how about the hiring need? Do the company still need to find more people? Of course, the answer is yes. But we can see that we have the moderate hiring demand in this year. And the difference from this year with so many years before is about how the company is recruiting people. We all know that before, most of the companies set the recruitment based on the experience of the candidate. But now we can see the shifting from the experience base to the skill base recruitment. Why is that? Recently, I think about 7 years ago, we talked about the fourth industrial revolutions. And now we talk about the technology, we talk about AI, the rise of AI. And by the end of 2022, we know with the rise of ChatGPT, it's already changed the world. And recently, by early of this year, ChatGPT also released a new feature of Sora that can make the video very quickly and immediately, just based on some requests. And that means the world changing a lot. I remember in some reports that the World Economic Forum, they mentioned that about 100 million jobs will be disappear in the next 2 years, but so many new jobs will be appear in next coming year. Let's give an example. Like 10 years ago, not so many of us heard about the digital marketing job, right? But now it's very popular jobs. Or even 4 years ago, I think that was the first time I heard about growth hacker job. That's a client order navigator to find the candidate. Actually, growth hacker is not a hacker job, and it's not the marketing job either. It's the job help the company to grow the user, the customer, and we couldn't find the same candidate in the market. So how the company can hire people? So they need to shift from experience-based to skill-based. And especially recently, we also see that the skill-based will take over the degree requirement from so many job posting. And even so many big companies like Google, Accenture, or Zoho, they are posting the job without the degree requirement in order to attract more talents for their teams. So what would be the new skill that the employee need to be equipped in order to meet the expectation of the employer? You can see in the graph that the World Economic Forum's future job survey, they mentioned about the 15 essential skills that the employee need to have. And I just want to mention about the top 1 to top 3. You can see that the analytical thinking or creative thinking still rank the number 1 and number 2. That means no change from previous year. We know that this is the era of technology of the AI. So what will be the competitiveness of humans? I think because we have the creativeness. And that's why people need to have the analytical thinking or creative thinking. But now, because we talk about the AI or technology era, so AI and big data already changed the ranking of number 15 to number 3. That's one of the most essential skills that people need to have. Actually, a few years ago, I remember that in the same report, the World Economic Forum, they mentioned about the technology or IT literacy, but now it's not about the technology literacy anymore. It's about AI and big data. But when we talk AI and big data, it's very easy. But how people can equip and can learn or can use AI and big data is really important. Just give you an example. Now in our company, I encourage all the people, or I suggest all the people of my teams need to know how to use ChatGPT. It's really important for their job. It's not just about the work for the leader, but also it's the job for everyone who need to know and need to learn and need to use the AI and big data as well. So we move about the labor workforce. We know that now the labor workforce is Gen X, Gen Y, and Gen Z. So who are they? And what's their expectation or their interest, and how we can recruit them? Then G will make up about 27% of the workforce by the next 2 years, actually next 1 year. And Gen Z, what are they interested? They care about the ESG. It's environmental, social, and governance. Actually, last year when I have the presentations in front of the executive board of a very big conglomerate in Vietnam, I talk about ESG. Not so many people know about that terms, but now it's more popular. I remember 2 weeks ago, I attended the investment conference in Vĩnh Phúc province, with the attendance of the Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Trần Hồng Hà. He mentioned that Vĩnh Phúc need to have the green transition. Now, so many companies and the government, they talk about the green transition, they talk about the environment. And actually, Gen Z, they care a lot about ESG. If the company can provide or can demonstrate the commitment to the ESG, they can have the chance to attract more people in Gen Z. So how about Gen Y? The millennials, they mark up about, I think, 40% of the workforce until next year. And they are the majority workforce in the market. What are they caring? They care about the diversity, equity, and inclusion. So the company can provide such kind of DEI. I think that's a chance for the company to get the people from millennial. And the Gen X, a bit old generation, right? And I am also a Gen X member. And Gen X member now mark about 30% of the global labor workforce. And I believe that most of Gen X people, they care about the security of the job and the work-life balance. And they prefer to work like in the hybrid mode or remote work. I remember just 2 days ago when I met with the delegation, a representative of recruitment company from Australia who joined the delegation teams of Australia to Vietnam to discover more about the chance to investment here. And he mentioned that one of the biggest challenges of so many employers in Australia that they cannot persuade the people to go to the workplace. So let's talk about the recruitment trends in the world. I would like to share with you some interesting findings. You already see that we talk about the employer branding and some very significant data. 86% of HR professional survey indicates that recruitment is becoming more like marketing. Or the same number of employee or job seeker, they research the company review and rating before deciding applying for a job or not. 92% of people, they would consider to change a job if the company if they have the chance to work for a very excellent corporation reputation company. And a very interesting thing that employee voice is 3 times more credible than the CEOs when it's come to talking about the working conditions in that company. That means we know the importance of the employer branding in order to attract the right talent and also to help the company to save the cost of hiring. So how the company is recruiting, what channel they are using, and of course, in this time is the combination of traditional and also the modern methods. The traditional still stay the same, like a job posting, referral scheme, or recruitment event. Of course, recruitment agencies, when the company try to looking for some senior position are very hard to fill position. So recruitment agencies, they have know-how, they have the data, and they can support the company to handle the search. Or social media recruiting is becoming more popular now. And I believe that 100% of manufacturing company in Vietnam, they are using Facebook to recruit people. I remember 4 years ago when we organized a workshop in Hải Phòng to discuss how to hire people. And HR of a manufacturing company in Hải Phòng, she shared that through Facebook, her company can recruit few hundred people just within a month. But now it's the technology era. So of course, company need to use the AI and technology for the recruitment. AI tool can help the company from like creating the job posting or attracting the candidate, making the interview or managing all the recruitment process. And data is very important. We talk about data driven, and data can also applied in recruitment. So that's the change in the world. What's happening in Vietnam? Now we move to Vietnam labor market in 2024. Any of you can share with me about the GDP of Vietnam in last year? Can you type in the chat box the GDP in Vietnam last year? Do you know that number? 5%. Correct. Yeah, and this is the Vietnam GDP growth rate in last 20 years. And you will see that in the last 20 years, Vietnam GDP is always a high rate, like a 6 or 7%. It's only went down in the crisis times, like in 2008, 2013, and the COVID pandemic. It jumped to the peak 8% in 2022, and then a drop in last year, 5%. And with the drop of growth rate, we can imagine what happened with the company and also the labor market in last year. So last year, by the end of last year, we did a survey with about thousands of candidates and clients to ask about the affections of the market fluctuation to their business. And 80% of employers, they said that they got a very bad impact by the market fluctuation. And they mentioned about some of the solutions they chose to cope with the market. And the top 3 solutions that they mentioned is about employee reduction. Actually, almost 70% of companies choose to reduce the current employee or stop hiring new employee. They do some internal transfer, like I just mentioned, that other companies in the world are also doing the same. And like about 47% of companies choose to provide technical skill and soft skill training for the employee. That's a way they have done. But actually, this is the past. So what happened for this year? And when we asked the company, the employer, about the hiring plan for this year, they said that, of course, they will have the plan of hiring, but almost 60% of the company choose to recruit below 25% of personnel. And 18% of company choose no more recruitment for this year. Actually, you can see the forecast of GDP in Vietnam for this year is about 6%, can be a bit higher than compared with last year. So that means the company will have the chance to grow their teams and can have more recruitment needs. So what would be the high demanding job for next year, for this year? And you can see the top 3 jobs will get more hiring demand is the sales, manufacturing, and marketing. Why sales? Every company needs revenue. Every company needs to increase the revenue, and sales team can help them to achieve that goal. And together with sales team, marketing will support the sales to achieve that target. And why manufacturing? You know that the GDP to Vietnam in last 20 years always grow. And even for this year, when we see the number of FDI, foreign direct investment capital, and also project to Vietnam, in compared with last year, is increasing. And especially trends of the wave of Chinese companies coming to Vietnam to find the to set up their business here. And you know that in last year, 64% of FDI capital to Vietnam went to manufacturing sector. That means most of companies, when they come to Vietnam, they want to invest in manufacturing. They want to set up the new factory. They want to set the production line here. And together with the coming investor, the current company in Vietnam also want to expand the production and also enhance the productions. And that's why the need for recruitment in the manufacturing jobs can be increased for this year as well. So how the company in Vietnam is hiring talents or attract talent now, we can see that the fourth chance. First, of course, most of the company will try to diversify the recruitment channel, like headhunting or referral or social media or collaboration with the college or university in order to getting more candidates for them. But the good things, like I just mentioned, same in the world. In Vietnam, some company already focus on employer branding. Of course, doing the employer branding through social media is a channel, very good channel through it. But I know that some companies, they are doing some of the different ways, like a recruitment roadshow. And I remember a very well-known bank in Vietnam, a local bank in Vietnam, in last year and last 2 years, they organized 4 roadshows in the US, in the UK, in Australia, and in Singapore to branding their name and attract local expats. No, I mean local Vietnamese employee in those countries. And together with that roadshows, they already hire so many people, and it's the chance, very good chance for them to branding themselves with other candidates, especially for expatriate candidates or local Vietnamese candidates who want to go back to Vietnam to work. And HR what can be a channel for the company to do employer branding. Of course, some companies in Vietnam start to apply technology in recruitment. I don't see much, but we see the increasing number of companies are using like ATS or chatbot, data analysis or video interviews. Like we work with an insurance company. They are using a video interview to interview all the candidates for the financial advisor positions. And now more and more companies start using recruitment process outsourcing service whenever they have like a big recruitment projects, or they just want to focus on core competencies of the company. So many companies now, they just want to focus on core competencies or production lines of themselves instead of spending their effort to do other admin tasks. So they can outsource the recruitment process to other company. And startup company, they can use like a RPO at the moment. So I just walk you through about a little bit about Vietnam labor market and how company is hiring talents. And in the last part, I would like to give some recommendations. Of course, we all know that people, manpower is the most valuable asset for every company. And in order to have a sustainable business, the company needs to focus on people, on talents, by attracting good talents, by retaining them and developing them. But within this workshop, I will not talk about the retention or development. I would talk a little bit about attraction. So what if your company already have a very great benefit package for your employee? You have a very good working culture, working environment. The leader teams in the company is so well, they care about their employee. And you also design a great development system for your employee. But the potential candidate of yours, they don't know about it. So how can you attract them? So, of course, employer branding is the way for you to stand out from the crowd. And in this slide, I would like to mention a little bit about the employer branding framework. You can see that there are 9 elements or 9 factors for the employer branding, in which 4 factors you can control, 3 factors you can directly influence, and 2 sectors you can indirectly influence. So what you can manage or you can control, of course, is your career page. You know that candidates, they care a lot about what you post and what you mention in the job posting. And when they visit your career page, they will know about what you can offer for the job. So make sure that your career page look attractive for the candidate. And of course, for serious candidates, before they decide to go to the interview, they will check the website or the Facebook fan page of the company to know about the culture, and you can manage what you can post there. And of course, the culture or corporate value is what you can create and you can manage. And a very important thing that you need to manage the communication with the candidate, not just the HR, not just the TA team, communicate with the candidate, but also the line manager. That's what you can manage. And do you remember in the previous slide when I talked that a very interesting factor that the employee voice is 3 times credible than the CEO ones when talking about the company working conditions. So you can encourage your employee to share what you are doing well. I remember 4 years or 5 years ago, we did a campaign named Why Navigators. When we encourage employees, they share the reason why they joined the company, why they are staying here, and ask them and encourage them to share those stories in their Facebook. And actually, we got a very good impact after that campaign. So many people, like their friends or their relatives or their clients and candidates, know about our working cultures. And company reviews, social media activities can help you to brand you more. And company award is more popular now. But what if you do very well in terms of branding yourselves and you can attract so many good candidates to care, to have the interest in your company, but then you fail in offer a very good candidate just because of the recruitment process? Have you ever seen it? We saw a lot with our clients, and it's because of the candidate experience. And here in the roadmap, we know that the candidate experience starts from the brand awareness or their interest, like I just shared in the employer branding, till the applications when they apply to the job. Make sure that they can easily apply or they can get the appropriate test for them. And the way you communicate with the candidate need to be proper. I know that so many cases, the line manager, they try to apply too much like a stress interview, or they coming late to an interview with a candidate, or even they don't care about their image when talking with the candidate. And finally, the candidate turned down the offer. So the HR and the TA and also the line manager need to care about the candidate experience. It's not just about you can hire a very good candidate, but also the candidate can be your brand ambassador to share with other people that you have a very great recruitment process for them. And last but not least, of course, the company should diversify the recruitment channel by using more AI and technology. Of course, in Vietnam, if you want to apply AI, it's not really easy, but we can start from using like a ChatGPT to creating a job post, or you can use the ATS to manage the recruitment process well. And I would like to end my presentation here. And thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you, Ms. Lang, for your informative presentation. I'm sure there will be a lot of questions for you after this sharing, but please keep it and we will discuss more in the Q&A sections. Now it's your turn, Mr. Allison Astarita. Please let us hear your voice.
Okay, so good morning, everyone, and thank you, EuroCham, for giving me this chance to share some insights. And thanks, Lan, for a very interesting overview of the job market and the trends. So yes, I'm Allison Astarita. I'm originally from Malta, but I have been living in Asia for the past 2 decades, 8 years of which in Vietnam. And I work, my experience is mainly in manufacturing sectors, having different operation roles. So today I would like to give you a bit of more insight of how to navigate these job trends specifically for the manufacturing sector. So I would like to share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So just to give you a bit of context, of course, in the manufacturing industry. So change is something which is constant. And I must say that the supply chain disruptions and the global shifts that we have experienced in the past few years have been a reminder to all of us on how critical it is for industrial companies to be agile and resilient. So as we navigate in 2024, companies also need to be proactive to adapt their operations in order to be able to succeed in this in today's competitive landscape. Sorry, hold on. So I would like to first start to give an overview, okay, of what are the main trends, okay, globally that manufacturers should be on the lookout. So first and foremost is data and smart manufacturing. So, you know, our machines, our assembly lines, our sensors, our robots in the manufacturing companies, these generate a lot of data. But in the past, not so many companies took advantage of this. But now, with the implementation of advanced technologies, so we start to see that, you know, our operations become more data-driven. So our data strategies become more critical. And this will allow companies to have a data-driven decision-making model. Therefore, we become better at predicting insights for our process improvement and also for our risk management assessments. The next trend that we need to watch out for is our global supply chains. So in the past, companies, okay, would always look at how to make more cost-efficient supply chains. But actually, now we are connecting our supply. We are connecting. Companies are choosing to connect more the supply chains. Okay, so they can achieve more data, and like this, they will also be able, you know, to have better predictions when we face any supply chain disruption. Of course, with all this increase in technology and in having all this connectivity, of course, the risk for cyber criminality becomes high on the agenda. So this is also why companies should also protect themselves more, and I mean basically raise the bar for the protection. Another thing is, as we mentioned, so technology plays a very important role in today's manufacturing world, and this also has a significant impact onto our manufacturing workforce. And this is why the current workforce needs to adapt to this dynamic and fast-paced environment which is created by technology. Therefore, as a result, companies and employees also need to cultivate new skills to fit in this new environment where data analysis drive business decisions and humans need to coexist with robots. So companies need to reassess their workforce, need to assess their training strategies so they are able to keep up with this speed in industry shift. In addition, also as Lan mentioned, companies need to be able to not only find creative ways of how to attract talent, but also how to retain talent. Another area is the economic pressure and market shifts. Okay, so with both inflation and also decarbonization, many businesses are diversifying the source. They are diversifying from where they source and make the goods. So this means that manufacturing companies need to focus on optimizing their operations efficiency across the whole supply chain in order to remain competitive. And finally is the rise of AI. So as also we've been mentioning, also mentioned by Lan, so AI is with us, although in manufacturing industry, it might still be in some cases still at its infancy. Okay, so far we see that AI is mainly used to enhance predictive maintenance, to optimize supply chain and improve quality control. But in the near future, we expect to see that AI will have further adaptation to help us to increase our productivity, enhance our decision making, and also improve our cost optimization. So of course, again, we as a manufacturing industry need to be, well equipped to be able to adapt to all these changes and to keep up to speed with this industry shift. So saying this, okay, to be able to keep up to speed with these trends, definitely one very important thing that business needs to do is to reassess their talent pool and also their talent requirements. So as also Lan mentioned, so according to the World Economic Forum, the topmost in demand skills for the next 5 years are creative thinking, analytical thinking, AI and big data, leadership and social influence, and resilience, flexibility, and agility. So for creative thinking, actually, this will be the most sought after skill within the next 5 years. The demand for this skill will grow up to 73%. So why is creative thinking so important? Creative thinking is basically a person's ability to think out of the box and to come up with innovative solutions. So people with creative minds usually are not scared to take chances and to try new things. So this is why also they become very highly sought after talents, because also creative minds are not only good at solving problems, but they also can participate in giving new ideas of how to grow the business. And it's also important to keep in mind that at the end, creativity is the only thing that differentiates us human beings from artificial intelligence. So I think it's also important, so both for companies in the sector to find ways of how to cultivate the skills, but actually also employees and candidates who are interested in working in the sector can also find ways of how to, practice on their own to be able to develop the skill, by finding some time to focus on innovation, by using brainstorming techniques at work, so, and also try find ways of how to always increase our imagination. Of course, the next sought after skills are analytical thinking and AI. Again, all these skills are necessary to support this shift towards a more data-driven decision-making operations. So it's also important to keep in mind. So of course, in the past year, so data has always been around us. We've always had tons of data generated in our organizations. But now what is most important going forward is that we get this data and we analyze it and help us to make the right decisions. Of course, when looking at the Vietnam markets, okay, so also from basically from the Navigo's talent guide, we can also see that this shift or this expectation for these skills in the local business is also reflected here. So we see that the top skills that business leaders in Vietnam are prioritizing during recruitment are also problem solving, language, adaptability, analytical thinking, and creative thinking. So, of course, after we have looked at what businesses in the manufacturing industry are prioritizing, we should also have a look at what are the voices, what is the voice of the employees, okay? So what are candidates in Vietnam looking for, or when they're basically searching for a new job? So from this Navigo's talent guide, we can see that, okay, so salary still has the highest, let's say the highest priority with 80%. But the next priority that comes in is company culture with 51%. So today, employees are not only looking for compensation. Okay, compensation still has a priority, still holds a highest priority, but candidates start focusing more on how companies treat their employees and what kind of working environment what kind of environment is being set. Besides that, candidates are also looking at opportunities for growth and development. And of course, in times of economic uncertainties, business stability also becomes a high priority. And we also see that other priorities are things like work-life balance and also direct managers. So how the leaders within the organization, what is the leadership style? How inclusive are they? And again, also echoing back on what Lan said, so all these kind of things employees will look for either through social media, or they ask people who are working in these companies. So it's very important that basically our own company culture and what we do is reflected through our own employees, because actually also our own employees, our internal employees are the best, let's say, employer brand ambassadors that we have. So after looking at what are the employees and candidates willing to work for manufacturing sector are looking for, I would like to now go to one very important thing, which is how will businesses establish this balance, okay? How do we establish the balance between what is necessary from an employer's perspective, from a business perspective, and how do we balance that with the needs of our employees? So first and foremost, I see, so as a business leader myself, okay, of a manufacturing company, I see that, putting safety and sustainability as a priority is very important. And I mean, again, especially in manufacturing industry, as this really shows that we really do care for the lives of our employees, and we also care for the environment around us. And also, as Lan also mentioned, so our Gen Zs, they do really care about environment. They also care about purpose, and this is why they want to be part of organizations that also have a higher purpose than just for making money. Next important topic would be cultivating strong leadership skills. So as mentioned in my previous slides, also direct line managers are also one of the top priorities for our employees. So this reminds us on the importance to invest in our leaders across the organizations and ensure that we have the right talent in place to motivate and drive our teams. And also to be open and to listen to ideas of our employees. At the end, that is how we ensure we create also a diverse culture, because diversity doesn't come only from gender, but it's also coming from diversity of ideas. Okay. Next would be the transparency and fairness. Okay, so as mentioned, of course, compensation still has a high priority. Okay, so we do understand this, and that's why it was also important that we create a transparent cost and benefit structure. That people can feel that we are offering, let's say, a fair compensation across the organization. Another thing is a well-structured career ladder across the organization. So as mentioned before, employees, candidates, they are looking for opportunities where they can grow. So it's always important that they can see, okay, what are the possibilities of growth in this organization? How can I move from one step to another? What do I need? What do I need to achieve to be able to reach my next level? And also, one important thing to mention, this is especially for manufacturing industry, that it's not only, we don't only cater for this in our employees, our engineering and our staff level, but it is also important to this for our shop floor level. So our shop floor people are also interested to grow their career. So this is why it is important that we also provide them with this opportunity, and also provide them with the right structure. Okay, so for example, how can I move from a basic operator to move to a multi-skilled operator to a line leader? Okay, and maybe to a technician. So even within this area, we can provide opportunities for growth. Another important factor is communication channels. Okay, establishing a variety of communication channels where everyone can feel they have a voice. I mean, so for example, some examples that we have applied in my organization are, for example, like lunch chats. Okay, so every month we gather with a group of about 10 of our employees from the various departments, together with the leadership team, where we can all discuss and share ideas, where we can also receive, where our employees can give us recommendations of how to improve things, maybe some things that are not working so well, or some things that we can do differently. Other ways are also like the town halls. Okay, so we do like quarterly town halls, also that our employees, especially because we are part of a multinational organization, it's very important that they feel that they're not, they are part of this big company, not only here in Vietnam. And so it's good that they see what are the group results, what are the plans for the future, and again, also giving opportunities for people to ask questions. Another area, again, focusing on learning and development, fostering a culture where people, can, we're making learning and growth to something continuous, something as part of our culture. So it should not only be part of our, something coming just from our training organization, but it's also a nurturing that culture where people, are curious, where people also attempt on self-learning initiatives, and this is how the organization can grow. One other important thing is fostering a culture of recognition and gratitude. Okay, so everybody likes to feel appreciated, and again, this also comes from nurturing this culture of even just simply by saying thank you when somebody, when one of our employees has done a good job or has given some good ideas. But it's also having some programs, for example, like having let's say outstanding, recognizing our outstanding employees, maybe once a year or half a year for anything they have done special or above and beyond of the normal job. And yes, again, and also gratitude, like organizing things like Appreciation Day. We're giving chance for our employees to say thank you to the peers or to the leaders for anything they have, if they made them feel special or any support they have provided. But again, all these things help people feel, more engaged within the organization. And again, these are also all things that help us also retain our talent. And again, we spend most of our time at work. Okay, so I always believe that we as business leaders should always create a positive working environment, and also make work a fun place to be, after all, because we're all there spending more than 8 hours in our workplace, so it was also better be fun. Okay, so that is all from my side. Hope you found my sharing insightful, and yes, I'll be willing to answer more questions later on at the end of the panelists. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Alison. I'm sure that your presentation has given us several noteworthy viewpoints, and there must be a lot of questions for you. However, please keep it, and there will be time for more discussion after the presentation of our valuable speaker. Mr. Matlong, please let us hear your voice.
Thank you, Ms. Thao, and thank you to EuroCham for hosting this event. Thank you to Ms. Lan and Ms. Allison for really interesting presentations. There were a lot of really great information involved in that. I enjoyed those a lot. So my name is Matt Long. I'm the CEO at Groove Technology. We're a software outsourcing company based here in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. I personally have been here in Vietnam for 10 years. Previous to that, I was lucky enough to have the opportunity to build and operate software teams in the UK, New York, and Melbourne and Sydney, and now here in Vietnam. So I'll just share my screen and bring up my presentation. Okay, you can see my screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Thank you. Okay. So we've been operating Groove Technology here for 8 years, and I've been here for 10 years. And today I just want to give you a bit of insight into the tech trends globally and how that's manifested here in Vietnam over the last decade or so. So over the last decade, we've been experiencing an escalating shortage in tech workers in developed countries. That is as a result of declining graduate rates in computer-related courses, as well as an increase in demand in the economy for tech-related jobs. That has progressed year by year over the last decade, and then really became pronounced around 2020, 2022, when the pandemic hit us, and the world changed for a little while at least, and money became very cheap. Liquidity was pumped into the system, That liquidity necessarily found its way to tech investment to solve the problems of the pandemic. And so there was a pronounced shortage worldwide, including here in Vietnam, but especially in developed countries, of tech workers. The other thing that happened around that time was the Ukraine war started. And before that, Ukraine was the #1 destination for outsourced software development in Europe. And most of that went offline, not all of it, but most of it. And necessarily companies were scrambling to restore their software teams, and that had a global impact. And in the last couple of years, I think in line with global business cycles, the steam has gone out a little bit. Inflation has gone up a bit. Interest rates have risen as a result, and so money has become more expensive. And as a result, less investment money is finding its way to tech, and the steam has gone out of the market a little bit, which I think is necessary. It was becoming a little bit unsustainable. It hasn't declined at all. I think it's just plateaued, but the rate of increase has flattened out a little bit. But I'm sure it's only going to be short-lived. So I think everybody here on this talk today are familiar with the positives of Vietnamese people and working with Vietnamese people. But one thing on this slide I want to emphasize is the investment that the Vietnamese government has made in education, STEM specifically education, over the last 20 years. The Vietnamese government see technology as the next pillar in the economy, moving from agriculture to manufacturing and now into technology. And that's now bearing a lot of fruit. And as a result, we have an emerging middle class of tech workers in Vietnam. And I think anybody who's spent time here over the last decade would see that the place has changed considerably as a result. And so Vietnamese universities are graduating 40,000 to 45,000 ICT graduates per year. And that has increased since we've been running Groove from 25,000 in 2016, whereas, as I mentioned earlier, developed countries, the rate of graduates in ICT degrees is declining while the number of jobs is increasing in the economy. So how has the trends in the last decade manifested here in Vietnam? For one, it has been an entirely employee-driven market, and Vietnamese people, very smart, they understand the power that they've had in this market. So it's been very, very competitive, but it's been a great opportunity for Vietnamese people to move around, to get a broad range of experience, to pick and choose where they work and who they work for, what environments they work for. And as a result, the environments, the benefits have really been driven by employees, and salaries have been increasing almost exponentially. Since we started Groove, they've been going up 10 to 11% per year. And like I said, that was a little bit unsustainable. So the air going out of the market now is I think necessary. We've also had a lot of competition coming into the market. A lot of companies know about Vietnamese people now, know how intelligent they are, how good they are at software development. And so we've had a lot of new entrants into the market, necessarily for them to attract employees. They've also been pushing up the benefits. The market has had to react. And so it's been a hugely, hugely competitive market for the last 10 years. Really interesting to be a part of. But as I said, the steam has gone out of it a little bit now over the last couple of years, necessarily. And so companies like ours have an opportunity to breathe and focus on strategies that we can apply to keep our employees. Attrition right now is very, very low. Vietnamese tech employees know that the economy isn't what it was in the last decade, and so they're less likely to take risks right now. And so it gives us the breathing room we need to focus on developing our culture, our compensation plans, and building loyalty to our company, which is going to bear dividends in the future when the market starts heating up again, because continuity is one thing that we need, and that what foreign companies need from us. Other catalysts that are impacting the tech market here in Vietnam is AI. We don't see AI as a disruptor to software development. We see it as a productivity tool. AI is never going to replace software development, regardless of what the marketing tells you. But it will increase the productivity of software developers, and the smartest software developers will learn how to leverage AI faster than others and get the benefit from that. But innovation is a vacuum, and so the more productive tech workers become, the faster innovation progresses. We're seeing very high interest rates right now, as I mentioned, and so there's less money flowing into investment into innovation. That's not going to be a long-term thing. The US dollar is also very strong at the moment, and so the Vietnam dong generally keeps pace to a degree with the US dollar, and so other developed currencies are now a little bit weaker, which impacts their ability to invest in Vietnam here. But again, that will be short-lived. And we're also about to enter a new crypto cycle, the crypto bull cycle. Vietnamese people are one of the highest investors of crypto per capita, and tech workers are obviously at the forefront of that. And one thing we've noticed over the last 2 cycles since we've been running Groove in 2016 and 2020 is employees' net worths can increase by orders of magnitude very quickly, which impacts focus, which impacts loyalty, which impacts their willingness to work in environments that are less desirable. So you need to be very, very careful about that. But then that also goes away very quickly as well, and things return back to the mean. So it'll be interesting to see how that bears out with the difference in the economy this time around to the last 2 times when tech talent has been at a shortage. But that's another interesting thing to follow. So what are the opportunities in this market for European companies? Well, with a less competitive market right now, I think it is a great opportunity for European companies to start a strategy here in Vietnam for technical teams, technical innovation. The graduates right now, year by year, the education level is getting better and better. Year by year, the graduates are coming out increasingly westernized, exposed to Western cultures. Year by year, the English is getting better. And year by year, they're coming out more able to work directly with customers immediately, whereas a decade ago, they would need a couple of years experience or continued learning on the job before they could work directly with customers. They're coming out now, and they're willing and they're ready to work with customers. You're going to get continuity right now in a less competitive market, so it gives you the opportunity to build a culture, to focus on building the team culture, and building ownership of the team over your initiatives. And so once you have that ownership, then it's a little bit easier to maintain continuity through a bull market. But also, Vietnamese people now are becoming a lot more confident in their ability and their place globally in the technical market, and where they sit in terms of innovation. And so Vietnamese people are becoming a lot more proactive, a lot more willing to innovate, and a lot more willing to share their ideas and push you to the next level as far as innovation goes. So there's a lot of opportunity for European companies right now if you want to enter the market. And if you are, I recommend that you offer your employees flexibility. At Groove Technology, we are still working in a hybrid model. That is, employees sometimes work in the office, employees sometimes work at home, and that's the norm right now in the market, continues to be. Companies that have maintained that have maintained an edge in retaining talent. You're able to attract a little bit higher level of candidate right now for your buck, and so that gives you an opportunity to really innovate and get your team up and running very quickly. And also, I recommend that you invest heavily in your culture. If you make your employees part of your culture, give them ownership over your culture, then they're more likely to stick around during a competitive market when they have other opportunities. And it's just a matter, I would say, of looking after people, looking after what they need, looking after their work-life balance, and benefiting mutually from that relationship from the company side and also from the employees side. So I think this is a great opportunity for European companies to start a technical strategy here in Vietnam. And that is it today, and I'm also willing to take any questions at the end of the talk. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you again to EuroCham and Miss Thao for hosting today.
Yeah, thank you so much for your valuable sharing. I'm sure audience has many questions that they want to share and discuss right now. And let's now open the floor for questions from the audience. Please feel free to raise your question idea in your chat box or unmute yourself and share with us. Okay, we have a lot of questions sending to us. Let me start with the first questions. It is, can you discuss the role of diversity and inclusion in strengthening your organization position in the global talent market? I think that this question is for Miss Allison.
Okay.
Maybe Allison, yes, please help us to answer these questions. Yeah.
So yeah, so as I mentioned, so when it comes to diversity, okay, so we're talking about diversity in gender, but we're also talking about diversity in ideas. Okay, so this is why this is why it is so important, especially in today's world when we're talking about when countries talking about being innovative. Okay, when we are talking about problem solving. This is why a combination or a diversity of ideas is what helps you to be more successful. And this is something that we do it first. So as part of our, let's say, hiring strategy. So when we are doing recruitment, we recruit fit for talent. So gender does not play any role in this. Okay, so we choose the right people that fit the right job. But I think with this thing in mind, it has helped us as a leadership team, to at the end. So we've achieved. So more or less, we are, even within the leadership team itself, we're more or less quite 50-50 between male and female. And this also goes down in our employee level too. So in our engineering and in our staff. And so it's part of our recruitment strategy, but at the end of the day, it's also part of our culture. So we as leaders have to nurture this kind of environment, so that where we are open, also that we are open to ideas. Also as leaders, we form, so when it's coming, if we're doing some problem solving, or we try to use tools like brainstorming, where everybody can have a voice, and then it's always one idea leads to another, and this is how we can come up with the best solutions. So I hope this has answered the question.
Yeah. Thanks, Miss Allison. Beside that,
And-
we also
I'm
yeah.
sorry,
Yeah.
can I add more a little bit about what Alison
Okay.
mentioned? Because when we talk
Yeah.
about the diversity, of course, it's very
Okay, please, Miss Lai.
the interesting tool for company to attract more people. And Alison already shared how we can be diversified with the people, especially in terms of the ideas. But I can see that inclusion is really important, because if so many people have so many ideas, and how we can include and we can get everyone to be united. And I think one of the very good things that Alicia already mentioned is about the transparent communications, like a town hall where people, they can feel belonging to the company. When they feel belonging, they can not just only openly to share their idea, but also they can follow some idea can be instructed by the company, and then you can be a united team. And the ways of the transparent communication are the ways that the leader hear or listen directly to the employee to know what's their concerns or what's their expectations, can help them to feel belonging to the company, and you can make a united teams and inclusions.
Yeah. Thanks,
So
Sheila.
exactly. So
Adding more.
basically, what is important is that this becomes like a habit. It becomes a way of, more or less a way of life in that organization. So of course there are some things which come with a structured, some structured, organized communication, but little by little, it's how we foster that our leaders also practice it in the daily life.
Yeah. This is the great sharing. And belong with these questions, audience, you also can discuss, because this is the discuss question. You also can raise hand and unmute. We discuss also more with this question if you need any more. Okay. If not, I go to the second questions in the chat box today. I got it. This is also for Chị Lan, particularly is Miss Lan. This question is, it would be great if Ms. Lang could explain a bit more about collaborations, university in attracting talent for companies. Maybe this one, Chị Lang, please reply. Yes.
Thank you for the questions. And actually, when we talk about the collaboration between the companies and the university or college, it's not just about the university need to be actively looking for the collaboration or relationship with the enterprise, or only enterprise try to be take advantage in talking with the university. Is also the role of the government as well. But when we talk about how the university can be actively approaching or discussing with the enterprise or the companies to branding themselves, branding their students to company, I think there are a few ways to do. First, the company can apply some internship program. Actually, I see that most of the company in Vietnam apply the 4th year internship for their students to have the chance to be interns in some company. I think it's too late for them. The university can encourage their students to have the internships at the 1st year, when they can learn so many things, and they can be the connector between the companies and the university, and then the university can have more network with the company and to present their students to other company in coming times. The second thing that, of course, actually in some university, I see that they have the industry advisor council, and they are the advisor councils. They are the expert in the market who are volunteer to support, to help the university to build up the curriculum or connect the university with the market, with the company. And the university try to use the industry advisor council to support. Of course, the university can organize some inviting more experts in the market to share with their students about the new skill. And once the students have the new skill, they can have more chance to present themselves with the companies. And how the companies can approach the university. Actually, when I talk with so many companies, they say that, okay, it's very hard for the company to find which university can be suitable in the list of so many STEM university in the market, to be the right partner for them to provide the future employee for them. And they have to select by themselves and try to connect it with each university. So if the university have like something like a student or an enterprise relationship department, so they can help connect, can do the connection between the enterprise with the university. One more thing that so many new investors, when they came to Vietnam, they accept whether they can find enough manpower, especially for skilled labor for them. If they set up the business in Vietnam, and they accept what university can be the good university to provide them good candidates, and we can be the connectors to connect them with those universities. So I think that in this case, the university can actively work with the recruitment agencies like Navigos or even some other companies who can have the very wide network of the company in the market, and they can connect each other. Yeah, that's my hope that my answer can meet your expectations.
Yeah, I think that this is the fully answer from Chị Lan. Maybe the audience is satisfied with this reply. And I also have the questions is talking about offering flexibility to employees. What challenges and opportunity have you experienced in aligning talent management with the evolving remote and hybrid work model? I think that it belongs to Mr. Mark Long presentation. And please invite Mr. Mark Long reply this question, please.
Thank you, Ms. Thao. Yeah, as I mentioned during my presentation, we are still working in a hybrid model, and so most of the time our employees are working from home. We've been doing that since the pandemic, and to tell you the truth, before the pandemic and leading into it, I was very, very nervous about how it was going to work. I was resistant to it personally, because how do we know what people are doing? How do we know people are working? But during the pandemic, we necessarily had to do it. We had no choice, and it worked incredibly well. And what I came to learn is you learn very quickly if somebody's not doing what they're supposed to do, the same as you do in the office, because they're not delivering. And so you can deal with those issues very, very quickly. So the challenges we faced weren't the obvious challenges that I thought we would. The challenges we face now is the challenge of team culture, team building, these kinds of things, because teams aren't working together face to face in the office. And so small problems can manifest into bigger problems. Miscommunications can manifest into big misunderstandings. And so we've really had to invest a lot into team building and making sure people get together, not necessarily at work for working, but getting together socially really makes a big difference to understanding each other, getting to know each other, and forming that team culture, which is necessary. We've also changed our approach a little bit, where we would promote our company culture over the culture of team culture, because within our company we have many different teams. But we learned when we were working from home that the team culture is what kept everybody strong and kept everybody together. And so we've sort of moved to a dual purpose of promoting both the company culture and promoting the team culture. We've given the teams flexibility and their own budget to set up their own team building activities, not rely on the company to do that. And so different teams have different cultures. So some want to go drinking, some want to go to Vung Tau, some want to go to the cinema. And so we don't place any restrictions on that. The budget is for them to spend. And that's really been a big positive for us. The other thing I think is less related to this talk has been IT security, which has been something that we've had to very, very quickly adjust to. It's a very different consideration working from home to working in the office when it comes to security of devices and security of information.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mark Long. Hello. Yeah, I think that with the answer from Mr. Mark Long, everybody do have any add-on from that anymore? Besides that, we also have the questions from the chat box. This is also for speaker Chị Lan. This is the form Trương Chính. As you mentioned, the employers are more focusing on skills when recruiting talents. So what is your advice for candidates to win in this hard battle? Yeah, maybe I can reply and answer these questions.
Yeah, thank you for the questions. And as I already mentioned in the previous slide, we mentioned about the 15 essential skills that the World Economic Forum they advise. That would be the future skill that all the employee need to equip in order to meet the expectation of the employer. And one of the skill I mentioned is about like AI and data and big data. To share with you that actually when we talk about AI, just 1 year ago, not so many people and even the consultant in our company, they know about the ChatGPT and apply AI in work. And then we have how say a group teams chats, and we can share the ideas or any new knowledge in that. And in that chat box, someone already share how to use the ChatGPT for work. And now we already encourage every people to use ChatGPT or learn how to use the ChatGPT. And one more thing that to share with you that recently we are cooperating with the National Innovation Center belong to Ministry of Planning and Investment. And they offer to Navigos a package of scholarship of Google, where you can learn so many new technological skill like a data analysis, advanced data analysis, or about like a project management. So we are offering to our clients and also to our candidates, and also someone who really want to learn the new skill, especially for AI, for data skill. It's really important. So I think the employee need to be, be ready or proactively in finding some course really needed for the future, and of course needed for their career as well, to prepare themselves in the market, to the very tough market like this. And of course, when we talk about the proactiveness of the candidate in equipping the new skill for themselves, we should talk about the role of the HR. Internal HR also need to prepare for even their employee the new skill, not just only like they have to find the way to upgrading or reskilling their skill. Yeah, that's my answers.
Yeah, thank you, Chị Lan, for your answer. And I think that we have the last come from chị Hồng Nguyễn, HR2B. You want to have discuss questions? May you open and unmute. Then we discuss with your questions, please.
Okay,
Please,
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Thao. Thank you, three speakers, for very useful and insight information, especially the presentation of Ms. Lan in overview and format, and Erickson about the practical in the organization. So may I have a question maybe for Erickson and Matt, because we talk a lot about the AI. And I believe that it is the trend now. So what I would like to know, and I keen on to know, how exactly AI you might think you will or you already apply in terms of finding the people, in terms of hiring the people in your organization. Thank you.
Thank you, chị Hồng. This is the questions to Alison and Mark, and I think that Mr. Marsh Long will reply this one
I
because
think,
he experienced. Yeah.
I think indirectly we've applied AI. It's helped our talent acquisition employees better understand the requirements of certain job descriptions. Our talent acquisition employees are not necessarily technical people; they're HR people, and some of our job descriptions have extremely technical requirements, which are not always intuitive to non-technical people, which has helped the AI has helped better helped our technical acquirers match our candidates with the job descriptions and better understand the technical aspects of the role without having to go always to our technical people for clarification.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's okay, chị Hồng.
Good. That's good.
Yeah. Okay. Dear participants, I hope you find the discussion informative and engaging. Due the limited time, the webinar has to end here. In case you have any further questions, please send them to EuroCham Vietnam through email hoangan@eurochamvn.org.h. The team will then send the question to the speaker and get back to you soon. On behalf of EuroCham, I would like to once again express my sincere gratitude to our esteemed speakers, Mr. Lango, Ms. Alison Astarita, Mr. Mark Long, for sharing your valuable insight on the job market in the world and in Vietnam. I would also thank all of you for participating in today's webinar. Your attendance and engagement were instrumental in making this a successful event. We encourage you to stay informed about upcoming EuroCham event. We remain committed to delving into critical topics and providing valuable insights that benefit to the business community. Thank you once again, and we bid you farewell. And night lunch. See you later.
Thank you, Ms. Thao. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.